All right. So, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself? I'm not sure all these people know who you are. Who are you?
So, my name is Jamila Norman, aka Farmer J. I have a farm, Patchwork City Farms, here in the city of Atlanta. I've been farming in Atlanta for about 10 years. Started in 2009. So I have a 1-acre farm, certified organic, and my newest and permanent location is over in Oakland City, so 1.2 acres in Oakland City. And so I am passionate about, of course, healthy food, local food, and eating seasonally, and of course incorporating a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables into the diet in its rawest form, and you know, that's my mission, and that's what I do. So I go and I till. I was digging beds today, getting ready to put more plants in the ground before I came here. So I was like, quick change, don't get too close. I've been farming, you know. And Chef Beee and I, she's gonna tell you how we met.
All right. So we're gonna make this interactive because this is the last talk. So we want to hear from you guys too. So I'll give you a little bit of my background because you never know where you're going to end up, right? You never know where you're going to end up. So one of my other hats is I'm a professor. I'm a Dr. Natasha Brewley. I teach mathematics at Georgia Gwinnett College, all right? That's up in Lawrenceville, if any of you know. And really my journey to eating plant-based started, I would say, in college. But when health issues really plagued me, I had my first child at 35. I had preeclampsia, eating crazy, hot dogs, pizza, salt-laden foods. I had to do something different. Blood pressure out of control, right? Does this sound familiar to some of you? And so, when I had my second child at 42, I wanted to do something different because I had a C-section, all right? And when you have a C-section the first time, they try to push you to have a C-section the second time, and they're on, all right? So I knew I had to do something different. And the thing that I did different was, I said I'm gonna go back to what I know, which is eating raw. Raw never failed me, all right? So during my pregnancy with Kwaku, I made sure that I had my energy soups. I was doing my sprouts. I made sure that I was drinking alkaline water every day. I was sure that I was drinking my raspberry tea, my nettles, my alfalfa, getting all of those antioxidants, cleansing the body, getting my uterus ready for delivery, right? And raw didn't fail me. Because I was able to not only have a vaginal birth, but then also my blood pressure was fine. That pregnancy was one of the most amazing pregnancies I've ever had. And so when you can't doubt the plants. You can't doubt the plants. So you always have to go back to what you know. And going back to raw did not fail me, all right? So now, Kwaku's here, right? And it was like 4 years ago, my little baby. 4 years ago, Jamila calls me up and she's like, man, I want to do raw for 30 days. And I said, okay, that's cool. Let's do it. She's like, you want to do it with me? I said, yeah, let's do it, right? I said, oh, no, we got a good idea. Let's bring other people on the journey with us. Let's bring other people on the journey with us, because we also know we always have to go back to what we know, which is community, right? And we can't do things in isolation, because when we do things in isolation, that's when we kind of lose ourselves. When we're in community, we have our community to uplift us, to hold us when we're kind of like, oh, I think I want to give up this time. I'm day 10, I don't know. But my community is there inspiring me from all the things that they're doing, right? So we decided to embark on this journey together 4 years ago, and we decided to bring the community with us because we know how important it is for all of us to be well, right? We know how important it is for all of us to go back to the plants. This is part of our DNA, this is part of our history, this is part of who we are, and we've lost our way. All right? So we started Spring into the Raw 2015. And when we did that cleanse, it was a community cleanse. We had about 400 people participate in that cleanse from all over the country. I think it was 35 cities. We had someone in Germany participate as well, because everyone was seeking something different. They wanted to be well. They wanted something else, because the food that they were eating was failing them, but they didn't understand what to do, and they wanted a little guidance along the way. All right?
Sure. So that initial, it's just, I don't know if when you come out of winter and you come into spring and you just kind of feel like you want to get a little light, you're like, ooh, I just want to eat a little bit different. That's your body saying, let's change and eat with the season. Let's lighten it up. Let's stop with the stews and whatever, and let's get some juices. Like, I just want juices, I want smoothies. So that's what I was just naturally feeling when I reached out to Chef Bee, and I knew that she was doing a lot of, raw food and stuff like that. And I was like, I just feel like I need a cleanse, And so that's what kind of drove me to reach out to her. And then when we launched our Spring into the Raw on Facebook, we did it as a Facebook event. We created the recipes for every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We shared it with the whole group. We were cleansing with them. So I wake up in the morning, you making your smoothie, you post a picture of your smoothie, and you're like, hey, everybody else, you're doing your smoothies, and then they're posting, and then, people are just sharing and having their testimonials. This is amazing. I feel so much lighter. Oh my God, I lost some weight. I didn't know you could eat raw collards. Wow, these recipes are amazing. So just that whole process, and just seeing how all of us were interacting, everybody just sharing real time what they're doing, and then people oops, I missed lunch. I'm like, girl, I missed it too because I was at work, but that's okay, because we're gonna pick up on dinner. So it's just, having a community that kind of is supporting you and holding you accountable. And so we did Spring into the Raw, then we were like, we gotta do summer, right? And then, so what's summer again?
Summer like it's raw.
Summer like it's raw.
I had to get the deep voice, y'all. Summer like it's raw.
Right.
All right, let me say something. So we're gonna make it a little interactive. I'm gonna ask y'all some questions. So one of the big pieces of what we do is we make sure that the foods are seasonal. Anybody, do you know why it's important for foods to be seasonal and local? But we can start with seasonal, right? Anybody, you can raise your hand. What's the importance of eating seasonal? Anybody?
I guess that's when nature is telling you when to eat. When the bigger is telling you.
Did y'all hear what he said? He said that's when nature is telling you when to eat. I love that. Isn't that beautiful? That's when nature, and I'll even tweak it. That's nature telling you what to eat. That's nature telling you what to eat. There are natural cycles in our body, right? So it's no coincidence that when it's cold outside, you want warming foods. It's no coincidence that she called me when the spring months were coming around. It's like, I feel like I want to do something different. It's in our DNA. It's kind of programmed in us. We want something else, right? So seasonal is basically nature creating what you need at that time. And it's only for you to follow suit and eat what's in season at that time.
And then in terms of when we're looking at cleansing, right? The liver, right? The liver is sort of like
the guardian angel. You guys know that? Your liver is your first line of defense against everything. And we don't think about cleansing our liver the way we need to. So really, you guys should be thinking about every quarter changing what you eat with season, and really doing a liver detox, because your liver gets bombarded with so many toxins. Even when you decide to eat fats early in the day, I don't know if you guys know this, But there's intermittent fasting, right? Have you guys heard of intermittent fasting? Wonderful. Intermittent fasting, for those of you who don't know, it is you deciding, okay, I have a feeding window of maybe 6 or 7 or even 8 hours during the day. So you might start at like 11 or 12 o'clock, and then your last meal is at 8, all right? But before that time, you might be drinking water. You might be drinking water with lemon juice, water with apple cider vinegar. You're cleansing your liver, all right? You're giving your liver a break. Oftentimes, we start eating the fats earlier in the day, and once you do that, you shut your liver down from cleansing and detoxing, all right? So intermittent fasting, eating raw foods, eating it in that window, one, you're bringing those enzymes into the body, but then you're also giving your digestive system a break. It's just able to do what it needs to do, and then your immunity boosts as a result of it.
Yeah, and so I brought up cleansing because going back to seasonal, right now, what do we see flowering outside? Yellow flower, what are those? Dandelions, really great for detoxifying your liver. That's what's naturally coming up right now in the springtime. Dandelion leaves, dandelion roots. That's what's coming up in the springtime, right? And so that's what we incorporate into our cleanses as well. It's not about just eating good, tasty, salty foods. It's about bringing some of those bitters into your diet as well to help with that detoxification. So another really good thing about eating seasonal is like when those vegetables are growing and the season that they're growing in, they are the most nutrient rich and the most fresh in that season. When you're eating something that's out of season, right, for there to be, let's just think about, like, say, strawberries or something like that in South America, it's in their season. It's growing, somewhere else, or it's growing in a greenhouse somewhere. It's not getting sun, it's being picked before it's ripe. It's put on a plane, and then it comes in on a tractor trailer, then it has to go to a warehouse, and then it finally makes it to the grocery store, and they gotta hit it with some gas, so it turns red, so it looks like a strawberry when you get it. It's traveled 2 weeks. It was picked when it was green, and then you're eating that. It has no nutrients. So when you're eating strawberries in season, which is springtime in Georgia, late spring, early summer is when you're gonna find strawberries now. They're sun ripened. It's sweet. You're like, this tastes so much different than a strawberry in the store. So it tastes better. It's more nutrient dense, and eating seasonally is also eating cheaper, right? Because that's when it's in abundance. So it's not going to be at a high price because it's around you, it's cheaper. So the price point is actually better as well in the grocery store. You go to the store right now, everybody got strawberries, so it's not super expensive. You try to buy it in the wintertime, it's going to be $6-7, for a little pint container. So you got to really start thinking eating seasonally, and then eating local, which is another thing that we promote.
So I want to also add, because she's a farmer, right? Isn't that amazing that you know this farmer? She grows food. You can actually connect with her right now, right? You can get her CSA. If you don't know what that is, it's a community-supported agriculture. You have a relationship with someone that's growing your food. In the same way she's talking about those strawberries, there's strawberry farms, organic strawberry farms in Georgia. You can actually go pick your strawberries. And then you can make preserves, you can do smoothies, you can freeze them, you can do this. But you were the person that picked it. You know the person that grew it. That's a whole different game changer. We haven't even talked about carbon footprinting. If it's grown in Guatemala or wherever it is, the carbon footprint that it took to get those strawberries from where it was to here is ridiculous.
So much gasoline.
Gas, chemicals, I don't even know what else. Electricity, there's so many things. Versus you getting in your car, going to the farm with your children and picking strawberries on a Saturday activity. Isn't that different? That's so different. And that's what we have to get back to as well. We got to connect to our food. And we have to connect to the people who's growing our food. All right? You got to do it. All right. You have something to say? You want to say something? All right. I'm coming over to you.
That is so powerful and so true. When I was in Panama, they talked about the chef's sustainable gastronomy, and they worked with local chefs to produce local foods for the restaurants. And then they were also working with far-out communities, indigenous communities, to develop tourism, to create indigenous strains of rice and corn that will never be found in a supermarket. And then they're going to turn it into community tourism to get the foreigners that come to buy that stuff from them so they can live. But certainly having a reverence for the food is important because it's serving the temple of the Most High.
It's serving us, right? It's serving us. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. All right. Why else is it important to eat seasonal and local? Any other reasons? You know? Anybody? Hold on.
It helps to support the neighborhood, basically, and to help support us as a community.
Yep, local economy.
That's right, local economy. When you guys get this CSA that she has, right? You know that you're going to pick up your produce every other week and you're supporting a farmer. All right? And you know that it was just picked either yesterday or maybe right before you scheduled the time to come and get that CSA basket. And what an amazing feeling that feels like when you're preparing food or you're eating food from somebody that just pulled it out of the earth, right? And that's the community piece, one of the parts of the community piece that we were talking about.
So I want to give you guys another statistic. So they say that within 2 to 3 days of fruit and vegetables being picked, it loses 50% of its nutrients. And so most of the produce that is in the grocery store, because of all of the logistics of moving things around, coming from out west, coming from wherever, it's traveled 2 weeks before it even gets to you. And we know that within, about 3 days or so, it's lost 50% of the nutrients. Because as soon as you pick a fruit or a vegetable or whatever, it starts its kind of decomposition process, And so, of course, you keep it in a refrigerator, that slows it down a little bit. You want to make sure it still has, enough water with the greens so it's still plump, but you want to pick it and consume it, right? And so that's another reason why it's really important. So even if you're not supporting me directly, there are a lot of local farmers markets that are popping up all over the city. Grant Park, Piedmont Park, the West End Park is going to start, Gordon White Park right here. It's going to be June 1st every Saturday, 10 to 2. They had it last year. True Living Well. Do you guys know what True Living Well is? Over in College Town? Truly Living Well. They have been farming in the city of Atlanta at East Point for about 20 years. And they have a site over here in Ashview Heights, College Town. They have a farmer's market every Friday, okay, on their farm from 3 to 7. Locally grown produce, fresh, organic, black farmers. So it's like wherever you are, find local fresh produce and buy it. It is not covered in pesticides. It is not covered, it doesn't have any GMOs. You cannot use GMO seeds in organic farming, in naturally grown systems. It's not allowed. It's better for the environment, it's better for your body, and there's less detoxing. When you're eating food that's just covered in whatever, you're just ingesting all those toxins. That's why it's just important to always cleanse. We live in an environment, just city air, you're breathing in air that's just full of exhaust and everything like that. You want to cleanse. drinking water is not enough. You need water infused with good things. You need fresh fruits and vegetables that help to, really detox your body. So that's what we're passionate about. And when we talk about raw food, I'm not a raw, I don't eat raw food all the time. I'm a pescatarian, all right? I eat seafood sometimes, but when I change with the seasons, I just my body's telling me all right, well, you need to cleanse. And so I just do a raw food. Right now our cleanses are 10 days each season. So we change with the season and we launch the cleanse and we do the cleanse and we have a whole kit that, kit, recipe book, everything like that we put together that's packaged so that you have a guide for how to do the cleanse, recipes that just introduces you to all the things besides kale that can help you. Everybody's kale. I love kale, There's more. But there's way more vegetables beyond kale. There's so much more than kale. There's collards. Collards are actually way more nutritional dense than kale. But you don't hear that, okay? Because we love collards. I think I'll put that up there.
So let me say this too. It's important for us to reconnect with our food.
Yes.
Okay? One of the things that we found when people do these cleanses with us, they're trying foods. It's I didn't know that tasted that way. Because their palates are being reset. When you go out there and you're eating foods that are hyper flavored, I'm saying hyper flavored, you're not really tasting the food. You're not tasting the food. You don't know what that really tastes like. When you begin to cleanse, when you begin to detox and reset that palate, when you go back to that food, you're going to be oh my God, that is too salty. That is too sweet. That is too much for me. And so it's important to have that reset. And it's important to just explore other vegetables and get out your comfort zone. All right? I'm curious. Anybody can answer this. When you think about cleansing, detox, plant-based, any of those big ideas, what's scary to you, if anything at all? Anybody? Okay, you next. You first.
Recipes.
The recipes. What do you mean?
How to put something together.
All right, putting things together. That's for you too? All right. All right, recipes and putting them together.
Having the accident in the wrong time.
Say that again.
Having an accident.
What you mean? Got you. I got you. Coming back to you.
Go back on the center.
Protein. All right, let me address the protein thing real quick. All right, I'm going to address the protein thing. Y'all know plants got protein, right? There's a myth that you can only get your protein from animals.
Yeah.
Poor animals. Poor babies. All right? Plants have protein. Plant-based protein. Pea protein. Protein from kale. Protein from sprouts. Protein from seeds, like sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Protein from legumes, like kidney beans. Ton of protein. Actually, more protein in some cases than animal-based protein. So that's a myth. That's a myth. All right.
Just being able to access the foods in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. I share. That's why we gotta support our local farmers. All right. That's why we do that. Anybody else? What's scary about this for you? I'm coming.
Chef Beee, working on
Marathon. Consistency. Ooh.
That's tough.
I hear that. Consistency. So you know what I say about that consistency? We gotta just take baby steps and we gotta be patient with ourselves. Right now we're doing this, how many of y'all are doing the Deepak Oprah meditation? Anybody in here doing that? You guys know about that? All right, some of you do. And the focus of the meditation is like a 21-day challenge meditation. It's talking about grace, manifesting grace into gratitude. We gotta be patient with ourselves, y'all, and our community and each other, all right? You don't have to figure this whole thing out like today. You just don't. That's what we put that kind of pressure on ourselves. I gotta be plant-based now. No, it doesn't work like that. Because guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go back, you're gonna be sneaking. We're gonna catch you at McDonald's. I'm like, oh, I see it. I see it. I thought she was playing big. Nobody looking at you like, don't worry about all of that. So the point is, baby steps. I'm gonna do a smoothie today. Today I'm gonna do a smoothie and I'm gonna see how that makes me feel.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I'm gonna do a salad today and I'm gonna see how that makes me feel. Or, another baby step. Oh, this feels kind of good. I think I'm gonna do plant-based for a week. Or, I'm just not gonna eat any meat during the week and then wear my cheat day on Saturday. You make the rules. Nobody's judging you, but you. So don't worry about that. You don't have to be consistent. You be consistent for you. And then you take another step. All right? But we also know that in our community, we're dealing with diabetes, we're dealing with hypertension, we're dealing with high blood pressure, we're dealing with heart disease, right? And we know that that's one of the leading causes of killing us in our community. But what happens is when you start getting those plans, they help to just reset everything in your body. So for that alone, you should consider doing something. Whatever that something is for you. All right? Does that make sense? All right. Anybody else? Anything that's scary to you about this process? Cleansing. Has anyone ever cleansed up? How many people, be honest, I've never cleansed before. I've never done an official detox. You know, it sounds so big and important, right? I've never done a detox. Right? Guess what? If you drink water with lime in the morning or water with lemon juice, you're detoxing. Can you do that? Can you do that? Can everybody in here do that? Absolutely. If you boil some peppermint tea with dry dandelion, 2 things, right? You could do that too, right? Yeah, you could do that. So baby steps. Baby steps, all right? If you decide to take a bath and sit in some Epsom salt, longer than 5 minutes, and just scrub your skin down with some sugar scrub or some salt scrub, you're detoxing. Inside and out.
If you work out, walk around the block and sweat, you're detoxing, okay? If you meditate, you're helping to detox, right? Because what we think and how we think affects what we do and how we do what we do, right? So there's so many different ways to detox, and what we put together, like with the recipes, when we were working with people online and folks are like, I'm just gonna do all the breakfast. Cool. I don't have time during the day to do the lunch, so I'll just do dinner, you know, or I'm gonna do 3 days and you know, whatever. So whatever works for you, find a place, start from there, and then you build, right? Because I mean, some of us, we've been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of doing a certain thing. And you gotta build that habit back up to do, because I mean, there are times when we're doing a detox, and I feel like, Natasha, girl, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Because, see, the way my life's set up, and it's hard. You know, but I have to wake up and I'm like, okay, let me at least get a smoothie in, and I know maybe end of the day with like some salad, or my friends always know, like, if I can't get to food, I'm like, well, I'm gonna drink some tea and eat a handful of nuts and I'm going to bed. Like, you know, something, you know, so whatever it is, you know. And then the other thing I like to say to people is eat the rainbow. If you prepare your plate and there's only one color on it, say, I'm gonna add some green to this plate. I'm gonna add something red, some purple, some orange. Add some color to your plate. Everything, every different color has a different nutrient that is just giving you something else. So if you eat the rainbow and you look for color on your plate, whatever you eat, whenever you eat it, you're bringing in all of that, you know? So just like some simple things to just think, like drink some water with some lemon, with some lime. Eat the rainbow, you know, eat local, eat organic, whatever. You know, just some simple things that, you know, you can just kind of like keep in your mind and just at least be a guide, you know, and then just seek out people in the community. And then we're gonna get with the oopsies when you're not supposed.
That's good. You better
No, okay, hold on. That's not good to happen when you don't want them to happen. Yeah. So you sound like you're doing like a serious detox.
I didn't.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm
Right. So again, like there's some things that definitely will move you. So there are some teas that have an herb called senna, and that thing will clear you out. So if you're depending on the, you know, how intense your detox is, sometimes you might need to be like, I'm on vacation for the next 3 days. You know, because you are.
That's right.
It's gonna come out.
For sure.
But you don't have to go that intense, right? You know, you don't have to like, because sometimes, you know, you gotta be careful also. People are selling these detox teas and flat tummy tea and all that stuff. Just take it easy. It's doing too much. It literally just flushes your system way too fast, and you can do too much and actually flush out all the good stuff too. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to empty your gut. You need your microbes in your gut, right? So you do, and you want it to be a gentle process, not an intense, just like, you know, you shouldn't be just crazy.
You say don't use detox.
No, I'm saying you just want to be careful with some of the detox teas you use because they're really heavy on the one herb called senna. That, I mean, if you're just the whole day just cleansing and just having movements, that's not good.
What about that Himalayan salt? I had a weird experience with that where it just drains all my energy.
Did you use that for detox?
Well, yes, I was.
Okay.
Drinking it as a salt water?
Yeah.
Listen, you don't want to do that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. So, you know, let me say this.
So, repeat the question.
She asked about Himalayan salt. She was using, you know, there are some detoxes where you drink salt water and it flushes the insides. And she actually had a bad experience with that. And we're saying, don't do that, right? Bio-individuality. Do y'all know what I mean by that? Bio-individuality. Bio-individuality means that one person's food is the other person's poison, all right? So you gotta be careful about what you do. All this stuff that's out here is not for everybody. It's just not. All right, so they're telling us we have to wrap up. This was awesome. Thank you so much. Let me say this before you go. Eat seasonal. Eat local. Support your local farmers.